You are listening to the B.I.G show with your hosts, Calvin and Garland. The B.I.G show is a weekly breakdown of the sports world from a fan's perspective. Here are your hosts, Calvin and Garland.
It is the big show.
Big up, big up.
And we're back. I think we missed last week, but we're back this week. In the middle of the week, we got another Wednesday going on. We're live on YouTube right now. And then we will be on all the podcast platforms. And if you have Spotify, you get to see our mug straight from New York, son. We're from New York, done.
Sonny,
what's
done.
Going on, Garland? What's going on with you?
You bugging, son. You bugging. You know what I'm saying? You bugging. Word.
Dead ass.
Word.
Dead ass.
I didn't know what word was until 1985, until I went to college. All these New York people like, word? I was like, I didn't know you could use it in so many different ways. Word? Word? Nah, word. Yeah, it was that, and you bugging, son. Yo, you bugging. Son is bugging.
Dead ass. Fuck is you talking about? Dead
Right.
ass.
Yeah, they ain't had the dead ass then. It was just basically they ain't had dead ass yet then. They just had word, son. Yeah,
that's what they was calling the Bronx the boogie down. Now it's the BX.
Right.
BX.
Right? Yeah, he's from Boogie Down, and you was from BK, Brooklyn, what have you. Met some people from Queens and all. Long Island.
My nigga. From Harlem,
nigga. Harlem World. Stand up.
Staten Island. Wildin'.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, we all talking that New York shit. We was in Jersey. Fuck around.
Right. That's like saying you from DC and you live in Columbia. Come on now. Yo, that used to happen a lot in school too. We be down at college, dudes be like, yo, go DC, Southeast. Then we get back home in Maryland, be like, yeah, Columbia, Baltimore, yo. Like, yo, you was just shouting out DC about 3 weeks ago. Now you up in here at the mall. You from Columbia. Okay. You from Columbia. All place. Switzerland. That's what I call Columbia. Columbia is just a good place for Baltimore guys to go meet Columbia girls.
Columbia trying to get on the map and shit. They got the projects down there and shit. And
yeah. You want to call them that. Yeah, they had the, little. They call it affordable housing. They had the affordable housing areas and stuff, But it's crazy. I had the fortunate. I don't know if it was fortunate enough. I had 2 girlfriends from Columbia. One when I was in high school, and the other when I was in college and all. And so
2. Were they on strike or something? Because I was trialing back and forth. They must have been on strike when you was out there.
Nah, son. I went here, hit the mall. They was on me because I was from Baltimore. You know what I'm saying?
I had some Long Reach, some Owen Brown.
Long Reach. Oh, yeah, come on, son. Yeah, I was in Long Reach. Long Reach was my spot. Yeah.
I was out in there. I knew the spot. I used to go over to the lake every now and then. When I got older, it was going to some of the bars over there by the lake.
Don't tell me you hear Silver Shadows.
Nigga, when it was the native New Yorker, and I was too young to go, and I was still up there, motherfucker. Then hit Silver Shadows.
Shadows. Man. They used to advertise on the radio, and my daughters was mad. Like when they found out it was closed down, it's like, dang, we was hoping we would become adults and we could go to Silver Shadows, because they always advertising like the Saturday night party from Silver Shadows. And
I was working at the radio station around that time.
You was.
Couple broadcasts and shit. Matter of fact, you remember the chick Buffy the Body?
Yes.
I saw her there. Saw her there one day. Yeah, she
was it. What she had? Was that just? Was that kind of just? She was just blubbery, or was that real? Like,
she was the
Yeah, don't get caught up, yo. Don't get caught up.
She last I heard about her, not that I know or anything, but you know how every now and then you get see random shit on the internet. She
Right.
in the God now. She like a
What? She a preacher?
evangelist or a missionary or something wild now. You know, she
Hey,
trying to cover that thing up.
Jesus saves. Some of your favorite video vixens and adult film stars now in the body of Christ. And so look at
Remember
you.
Vanity before Vanity died, she got into
Yeah,
she was doing televangelism and shit.
yeah. The
You
blood
know
of
what I mean?
Jesus. Look at it. It'll change your life.
Man, what we got going on today?
Yeah, man. We just going to recap what the Ravens did last week. Talk a little bit of the NFL playoff scenarios that are coming up. We got a little music corner. And there's been some things happening in college football. A big hire, as a matter of fact, word of another hire came through today. So we're going to kind of talk about that. But we're going to start off talking about the Jamie Foxx Netflix special. What had happened was, so Oscar-winning actor Jamie and Grammy Award-winning singer and comedian Jamie Foxx released a new comedy special on Netflix about a week ago. It's entitled "What Had Happened Was," and if you don't know, Fox had a stroke last April, which led to various rumors floating around on Beyonce's internets that either he had died and they had cloned his body, and we were seeing a clone Jamie Foxx walking around and all these other different things. And so during the special, which was part testimony, part stand up, and part music concert, Fox revealed that he was in a coma for 20 days. And after he comes out of this coma, all the things that happened to him. And so there's been a lot of, we haven't done our own reviews in quite some time. When we used to do All Things Black, we used to do reviews of shows and concerts and all those things. So we haven't done one in a while. And so um, I've seen it. Calvin has seen it. There's a lot of mixed reaction out here. It's not funny. It's if I wanted to go to church, I would have went to church, and he up in here crying and all these things. I'll say this: I think it's very hard for some comedians to make jokes out of life altering situations. The only one that I know that has been able to take near death experiences and make them hella funny was Richard Pryor. When he talked about the time that he lit himself on fire, freebasing, live on the Sunset Strip. Even when he talked about when he had a heart attack and how the heart attack was like, don't get your ass, lay down. You know, Nobody has made uh you know uh, life's problems as funny as Richard, but others have tried. I thought it was uneven. It was, yes, he could still sing, and yeah, he got a little carried away in some aspects of what happened to him, and him really just staying on that. The jokes didn't hit a home run every time, but for me, I just felt it was a little uneven. It wasn't him at his funniest, but I don't think it was him at his worst. And so, what was your impression of it?
So everything is subjective. It's going to depend on if you're a huge Jamie Foxx fan, then you're just like, oh man, I loved it. It was great. If you're just a casual fan like some of us, you're like, it was okay. Jamie Foxx is no longer a stand-up comedian. And if you know anything about stand-up comedy, once you lose that hunger for stand-up comedy, and a lot of these comedians are great because they have that hunger. That's how they make their living. But once you become famous, you kind of lose something when it comes to the stand up. And you see it with a lot of stand
Right,
up
right.
comedians, even the ones that are regular with it. Chris Rock, Kevin Hart, Mike Epps, they don't appear to be as funny as they used to be when they first started. These guys have made it. So Jamie Foxx, I don't know when the last time he's done stand up, but he's a talented brother. I mean, shit, he's 2 awards away from an EGOT. He's an Emmy and a Tony away from an EGOT, and that's saying a whole lot. I mean, he could literally go to Broadway right now and get him a Tony in a minute. He could jump on a TV show. This Netflix series, depending on who's watching it, could nominate him for an Emmy.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
I, you know, I it was okay, but it's his testimony. It's really, really hard to judge and be critical of someone else's testimony. It's hard to be critical of someone else's life experience, So I think we all kind of, well, not all of us, but a lot of us that are fans, because I'm a fan. I'm not a huge fan. I'm a fan. I think a lot of us kind of tiptoe around that because we know that it's his life, it's what he went through, and you don't want to judge what someone else went through because how can you? Because it's his testimony, it's his truth. And so, I mean, but if we have to rank it, which we are doing right now, uh, I'll give it a 7 out of 10, and I'm being generous with my 7 because I enjoyed the impressions of it. When he did the impressions, the music, he's extremely talented with the music, but then he also got up there and dropped one on us. He reminded us, like,
Right.
hey, everybody can't do this. Everybody can't do this. Like, he reminded us. He's one. I have to agree with Bomani Jones when he said he's probably one of the most talented, if not the most talented entertainer in our generation. Jamie Foxx can do it all, man. He can do it all.
Yeah, and I think some people kind of forgot that. He did sing, he did the impressions. Yeah, every joke was not make you fall on the floor, grab your stomach, dying in laughter. No, there's no jokes you could take away from that and tell. Outside of him saying he ain't gonna date white women no more. Which I thought was funny. But other than that, yeah, it. What are you expecting from a man who can't remember 20 days out of his life? I mean, dude was gone for 20 days. There's 20 days in his life that he cannot remember. And so yeah, he one day he was having a headache and he woke up 20 days later, talking about what's going on, where am I? And so yeah, now, maybe the people around him should have been like, Jamie, let's work out some material before you go out on the road, because he did not, go out and do any extensive shows with this. Normally when
Yeah.
someone's doing a Netflix special, they're doing some shows leading up to the actual recording of their concert. Like, Chris Rock did that when he did the last tour, when he recorded in Baltimore after the slap. And so, I didn't hear that Fox was out on the road working out material for this.
Yeah, he's definitely not torn,
Yeah.
So that's and it's one of them things. If you were watching it as a comedy special, which it was billed as Netflix, then you may be slightly disappointed. But if you're watching it as a celebration of life, and Jamie Foxx is here, he's back, then it's got to be top of the list for you. It's just how your perspective. How are you viewing it? What are you looking at it as? So,
Right. Right.
good for Jamie though. Hey, I mean, shit,
Yeah.
good or not good, whatever your opinion is, the man is alive. The man is kicking. He looks like he's fully recovered, and we're looking forward to more. And I actually would enjoy seeing him go for that EGOT if that's what he wants. He would join the ranks of what Whoopi Goldberg,
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer Hudson,
Sure.
John Legend.
Sure.
Uh, so yeah, let him jump. And I'm talking black people. We got plenty of white people that are
Right.
EGOTs, but
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
white people, black people.
Definitely, definitely. So yeah, so if you haven't watched the special yet, go to Netflix, check it out, judge for yourself, and see how it hits you. Let's talk a little college football. If unless you were under a rock last week, um, you would have heard that University of North Carolina, they hired Bill Belichik to be his next head coach. Six-time Super Bowl winning head coach was named the new head coach at North Carolina on last Wednesday. North Carolina officials said the sides agreed to a 5-year deal. Belichick, who's 72, worked in the NFL in some capacity from 1975. I believe he got his start with the Baltimore Colts until his divorce from the New England Patriots after the 2023 season. This will be his first college coaching job, and he will be the second Super Bowl winning coach to take a head coaching job in college. Who was the first?
Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Second Super Bowl winning coach. Who's the first?
Dun, 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 dun,
Sheesh.
dun, 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 dun.
I'm lost. Who's the first?
Bill Walsh.
Bill Walsh.
Bill Walsh.
Right.
He went to Stanford.
Stanford. Yeah, he
Yeah,
went to Stanford.
he
Hey,
went to Stanford after winning Super Bowl.
how could I not remember the Walsh tree? George
Yes,
Seaford,
yeah.
Mary
Dennis Green, a whole bunch of people out of that tree.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of people. Yeah, a whole bunch. Don't I ain't even gonna try to name names, but a whole bunch of people. And so we kind of talked about this, Calvin, the crew, the baseball crew. We went to the Giants game Sunday, the Ravens Giants game, and so we were talking about this on the way up. But you know, North Carolina, they haven't won an ACC football title since 1980. Probably the best known player to come out of North Carolina, of course, is Lawrence Taylor. Um, I'm not in the school that this was the best college job. What is your thought, Calvin, on this hire? And does this move the needle for the Tar Heels?
I mean, so it can't move the needle now, right this minute, because they're not a perennial powerhouse. But it has the potential to move the needle. This and we Garland's right. We all went out and we trying to tell Garland in the ride that the scene has changed, Garland. Things have changed for college football. You get you a name like a Belichik in there, and kids should start running to the school because you know their parents are going to be like, "Oh, you need to go play with him. Like he coached Tom Brady. He got Super Bowl rings. Like you." It has the potential to change. When you're talking NIL and transfer portals, this is a guy that people will look at his name and be like, well, damn, let me go try that out. Especially if you're a recruit and you go somewhere in the SEC and you may not be able to start. And instead of jumping in that transfer portal after 1 year, why not go to North Carolina and you could start right away? Why not get there and start right away and start showing your potential? The NIL money will be there. We talked about how the NIL money is now coming from boosters. Boosters are going to start throwing money behind that. I mean, come on, man. This has the potential to make North Carolina a contender. Not necessarily a powerhouse, but it has the look at Indiana. Look at Indiana. Indiana's in the goddamn tournament. The Hoosiers, that's not a football school. That's not. Come on, Garland.
I
Come
will.
on, yo.
I'm. I'm gonna say this. I mean, yeah, if this was like maybe 5 years ago, it would move the needle. But for me, a lot of these young kids, they don't know. They don't have no connection to Belichick. It's
What?
Yeah, because when did Brady leave the Patriots? So first of all, with these players that are coming in now, Brady is not their GOAT. Lamar is their GOAT. These other type of quarterbacks are their GOAT. They're not connected to that Patriots dynasty. All of that stuff happened when they were little kids. Yeah, the parents might be jizzed about it, but it's the kids that's ultimately making the decision. And to me, it's like, who is dude? I mean, times have changed. And Calvin, he was blackballed so bad he couldn't even get a he's in college because he can't get an NFL job. His own owner, the person he worked for over a decade or two, basically went to Arthur Blank, was like, yo, don't hire him, yo. If you hire him, it'll be the worst thing that'll ever happen to your organization. You got several jobs. You telling me the Jets, the Bears, who else got fired this year? Someone else got fired. No, not the Panthers. You got Jets, you got Bears, and there's going to be a couple. I'm sure Miami's going to be open because of McDaniel. He's been, he hasn't done anything really there. Got to the playoffs a couple times, but that team's underachieved. So there's probably going to be several openings for head coach this coming off season, and Belichick obviously knows he can't get a job because he's not going to stick around to wait for it. They said that he inquired about the Bears job, but he pretty much knows they're not going to rock with him. and the Jets' job either. And so to me, it's like I can't go nowhere else. So let me go to college where I can control the narrative, and we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
The proof will be on the field. And I understand, NIL and all these people and all that stuff. But to me, it don't move the needle when you got other teams out there that are flowing in the NIL, like Alabama, Oregon, Georgia, Texas A&M, Texas. You got these schools that got $1 million budgets too, and so we'll see. And he's
every
72. They just fired the head coach. He was 73. It's no way
every
that Belichick is going to coach all 5 years of this contract.
every school you mentioned is just like I said, an SEC school. Yeah, they got it, but these kids don't want to play behind anyone. And I don't think you're giving kids enough credit on the history of football. Tom Brady is not that
Calvin,
far gone from the
Calvin,
NFL.
we talking about not millennials. We talking about Generation Z. It changed tomorrow. In 30 days, something can happen today, and tomorrow
So
people will forget it. They don't have the
you don't
youngsters
think
don't have no history. They don't
you don't
understand no
you
history or
don't think
connection.
they know Tom Brady, the
I'm not
greatest
saying they
quarterback
don't know
of all
Tom Brady, but Tom Brady was not peak Tom Brady when they were 12
time? No.
or when they were 13. Don't tell me that Shaquan was going out to the football field imitating Tom Brady. He was going out to the football field imitating Lamar.
But you acting like Tom Brady is the galloping ghost. Tom Brady is
To
still
these
around.
to these black players that Bill Belichick is going to need to have a successful program, Tom Brady is not. So you coach Tom Brady? What?
I don't think you're correct. I don't think you're correct in this. I
So
don't.
you coach Tom Brady? What that mean? And you coached him so much, he hated you so much, he left. In the power struggle, he left.
He left after he got what he needed and got what he wanted. His rings. His
Yeah,
rings.
yeah, Calvin. I think you're overestimating the connection that the youth would have. Yeah,
I
yeah.
I could be overestimating, but I think you're way underestimating the connection that
Okay,
Bill
I want to
Belichick.
see what black kid is going to get up on the mic and say, "I was inspired to come to UNC because I
Wait,
know
whoa.
Belichick. He coached Brady.
But why are we making it black kids? This isn't a
He
UNC
going.
isn't an HBCU. That's
I'm
not
not
a
saying it's. I'm not saying it's a HBCU, but we know 90% of the players on these teams are black.
yeah, but they don't. He can still recruit good white kids too. Uh,
Where, where,
come on,
where he got to
bro.
go, Calvin? He got to go to Florida. He got to go to Georgia. He got to go to Texas to get these skilled players.
Bruh, I can't believe.
He not going to Mount St. Joe
Now you got
to
me.
get this to get the skilled player.
Now you got me sounding like Trump supporters. Why? Where's the race thing come from? Why is this a race thing?
You know what? I'm not saying it's race based, but what I'm saying is I don't think there's a connection. People are trying to make this connection. Oh yeah, you're going to see Belichick. That's for us. We're the ones that's saying, oh, Belichick, because we're adults. We understand the impact of the coach. But I think for the youth of the day, they're not choosing the school based on the reputation of the coach. And the North Carolina is a basketball school. It doesn't have a pedigree of football, and it's in a terrible football conference that's run by Clemson.
We will see. We will
All
see.
right, all right. Now the transfer portal is destroying college football, Calvin. The NCAA has a rule that allows football players to transfer within a 2-week window from December the 9th through December the 28th. Now, although players whose teams made it to the college football playoffs, they have a 5-day window to enter starting the day after their season ends. And so as a result, this season, we have seen a school decline a bowl invitation, Marshall, because 23 of his players entered the portal once the head coach accepted a new job. Penn State's backup quarterback has entered the portal despite the fact that his team is playing in the college football playoffs. And so what they're gonna need to do about this transfer window, man? Are they gonna have to move it to the spring, or they're gonna have to come up with new rules? Because basically, as soon as this time comes in December, you got players literally jumping off the team. They just finished playing, and the next game or the next day, they're in the portal.
So I don't know if it's the portal that's the problem or it's college football that's the problem. So
Hmm.
college football is a pro sport, and it has always been, but they've never treated the athletes like it's a pro sport. You start telling kids that, hey, we want you to stay so you can play in the, as we like to mention, the Duke's Mayo Bowl. They're not going to want to do that. These kids want to play for something. They want to get their bodies ready. They want to get ready for the NFL. They want to get ready for the next level. Now, I think Marshall's a different situation because the Marshall didn't give the coach what he was asking for, so he left, and the kids were loyal to the coach.
Oh, I
So
thought
that's
he
a
had just
little
got a
different.
better offer at Southern Miss.
He got a better offer after Marshall didn't give him what he asked for. It was
Okay.
something he asked for, and they so kind of a slightly different situation, but still pretty much the same. But in the past, we would have seen kids that wanted to be with this coach, and he would have left, but they would have been forced to stay in that program, and they would have had to play because the only way they would have been seen by NFL scouts is to play. Now things are a little different. I'm really not mad at it. Now, do I think it's the Wild Wild West and some tweaking needs to be done? Yeah, but is the tweaking necessarily the portal, which could help, or is it the NCAA? Do they need to do something like maybe the kids, instead of getting, uh, if it's the Duke Mayo Bowl, instead of getting sandwiches and a lifetime supply of mayo, maybe they need to start paying the kids because they getting the money from the sponsorship. I don't know what it is, but something has to happen. Again, I don't think it's bad, but it is the Wild Wild West, and they do need to start tweaking some of this.
Yeah, someone said this is akin to like if the NFL they had open free agency during the playoffs, and so it'd be like if last year the Ravens were playing in the playoffs, and or the year before last when Lamar was a free agent and they made the playoffs, and instead of playing the playoff game, Lamar decides he's going to sign a free agency deal with another team. Um, yeah, they're just going to have to maybe move it to spring, move it to the spring practice time or something like that. Initially, I was thinking, well, maybe they need to come up with a some type of rule that if you are on scholarship and you got an NIL deal, you have to stay at least 2 seasons. But that hinders the whole movement thing, and so I do like the fact that the players do have the flexibility to move. I think some of them are jumping in the portal when they don't need to jump in the portal. I think what we're seeing is when those players they don't get that opportunity, man, they're gone. Sometimes they're coming in. This is the first time they're facing adversity, or sometimes the coach leaves and they decide that they want to go and play under another coach whose style of play fits them, and so they should have that option. The coaches don't have to sit. The coaches can leave before the bowl game. They can leave at any time as well. But yeah, they probably just need to move the time period to a time where teams are not playing. To me, that's I don't know how they overlook that fact that they had the window open between a time when teams are preparing for bowl games or preparing for championship games. That just doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's not like the kids can go to another school and play. They still have to wait. They have to wait till the next season.
Yeah,
But
but like Penn State, the guy was their backup. I mean, what if they
right,
go out
right.
there that their starter gets hurt? I mean, this is a guy that he was a legit second string, and now they're going to have to go to a third or fourth string quarterback who's probably hasn't gotten any reps all
But
season.
now, even before the portal, if you remember, kids were opting out of these bowl games. They were opting out because
Yeah,
they
yeah. Some
wanted
of your
to
best
transfer.
players
So
were. Yeah, they were
yeah,
opting
so
out.
it's not like you can do. That's, I don't know if that's going to help. But, and let's also remember, we're just looking at college football right now. If you look at college basketball, it happens there. Look at women's basketball, the sport that no one was really paying attention to. And then who's the white girl that went from Notre Dame to
Yeah.
LSU? Now she's no, she went from
No, she was
Louisville to
Louisville to with
LSU,
LSU.
and now she's with oh man, I
Yeah,
can't
she's
remember.
somewhere else now
She
with a
she
good
left
team.
LSU. Yeah, so
Hmm.
you know what I mean. So it's not just football.
She's at Notre Dame. She's at
She's
Notre
at,
Dame now.
no, she didn't go to Notre Dame. She didn't go to Notre Dame where her dog goes. She went to I can't remember, and I can't even remember her name right now.
Yeah.
Six
But
foot, six
anyway,
foot white girl. Anyway, but so you got athletes doing it in all the sports. So I know we're focusing on college football because it's right before these bowl games, but all these athletes are doing it. So once you tweak it, you got to tweak it for everybody. So we definitely don't know how they're going to do that.
right, right. Yeah, I agree with you. Haley Van Lith was her name.
Haley Van Lith, yeah,
Yeah. She's at TCU now.
TCU.
Yeah. All right. So let's keep on going. Hey, another former NFL star is heading to a HBCU. Former NFL quarterback Mike Vick has accepted the head coaching job at Norfolk State University. Go Spartans. Norfolk State is right next to Hampton. It's actually across the water, but we're in the same Tidewater area. Vick, who's 44, informed Sacramento State officials that he was no longer in the mix for their open head coaching position and indicated to them that he was taking a job closer to his home at Norfolk State. Vick's hometown is Newport News, Virginia. As a matter of fact, my paternal side of my family's from Newport News, Virginia, which is about, as a matter of fact, I had an uncle who coached Mike Vick back in high school. And so it's about 20 miles from the Spartans campus. Norfolk State fired head coach Dawson Odoms in November after a 4-8 season. The historically black school plays in the Mid-Eastern Atlantic Conference, or the MEAC, and the Spartans have made one appearance in the FCS playoffs, losing in the first round to in-state rival Old Dominion. That's crazy because Old Dominion is right in Norfolk, where Norfolk State is, in 2011. And so NSU, they're obviously looking for the prime effect with this hire. Do you think it's going to work?
You know what? Before I comment, because I know this issue is dear to your heart. Let me pass the mic. Like, what's the DJ name? What's the DJ name that passed? Let me pass the mic to you, Garland. Why don't you start off? Let's hear your opinion of Michael Vick at Norfolk State.
Hey, man. They're trying to make a splash. I mean, Mike Vick, he's from the Tidewater area. He's from Newport News, which is right next to Norfolk, right across the water. He has a lot of influence and popularity in the area, and I want to see what type of staff he builds. Because Vick has never coached at any level. I mean, Dion at least coached in high school. Dion at least coached at a prep level, so it's not quite like Dion. And Eddie George, I don't know if he coached high school as well. And so, it's really going to be about, what type of coaching staff he builds up and he brings there. Hopefully they are patient and give him the time to try to grow the program. And so, I don't think it's a bad hire. I'm not going to go out on this thing. He's using the HBCU and all that other stuff because I don't know if Mike Vick has designs to want to coach in the league. That's different from Dion. And so, it's definitely, they're looking for the prime effect. And can you blame them?
Well, I'll be damned. What in the
what
kind of world are we living in? Well, first of all, I did that because I wasn't even thinking about prime. We literally just had a discussion about Bill Belichik, and you think Michael Vick has more pull than
I
Bill
did not.
Belichick?
I did not say that. I did not say that. Don't
said,
put words in my mouth. I did not say that he has more pull than Belichick. I'm saying
that he can get the players.
I'm talking about in that regional area, in that region, in Newport News. The majority of players that are playing at the HBCUs, like Norfolk State, like a Hampton, they're getting the players locally. And so I think he could have enough influence on the local scene to get some second tier, maybe some 3-star 3.5-star players on that team. That's all I'm saying. I didn't say that Belichick couldn't get the players. Um, I'm just saying that I think for a regional hire, to me, that's a regional hire. That's not a national hire. Norfolk is not going to be competing with another large FCS school for a player from California. They're going to be competing against Hampton, against ODU, all in that area for players right in the Tidewater area.
Does Gen Z know who Mike Vick is?
Yeah, because they play Madden and they play with Mike Vick, and so they know who Mike Vick is. They don't know who the coach is. Who's the coach? The coach is not even in the game.
Listen. First of all, so let me say my opinion. I think it is a great hire for Norfolk State because Mike Vick is a name, and being the region makes it that much more appealing to players. Just like I said about Belichick, everything is about optics. It's about the name that's there, what players you can attract. I don't even discount the fact that you just went up to 3 stars. I'm going to go out on the limb and say you can get some black players because you know you like the black players that can be 4 and 5 stars.
He ain't getting no 4 or 5 stars at Norfolk State.
You just never know. We didn't think Dion would be able to get 4 and 5-star recruits at Jackson State. His 4 and 5-star recruit just won a Heisman Trophy playing at Colorado.
Yep, and he took him. He took him right where he left too. He took his Louis with him when he left.
My point is that he got him at Jackson State. You never know if Michael Vick can. So it's the name that's bringing these players in. Like I said, the game has changed now. You know, it is the names that are starting to bring these players in, and because it's wide open, you can get these recruits.
I think the name works better at the HBCU as opposed to the Power 5.
That can be debatable, and I get that, and I also get the regional part of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be debatable. I'm not going to argue that. I get that.
Okay.
So I agree that it's a great hire for Norfolk State. Anytime that you can bring any type of program that's not as heralded as an SEC school or even a Big Ten school like Ohio State, anytime that you can get a name that can attract players, it's always going to work in your benefit. Now, how they're going to play, that's what the coach is there for. Now we can see then how's it going to work. Even with Belichick getting them, that doesn't mean that they're going to be a good team. But when you get the players there, then we'll see how you handle that.
So, yeah, because unless Brady goes back and claims some lost eligibility, he only won with Brady. He ain't win nothing without Brady. You know, hey, I guess Norfolk, the next thing they're going to do.
Can't argue that.
Can't argue that. I guess Norfolk, the next thing they're going to do is hire Belichik. He right across the water, too. He from Newport News. Maybe they can go ahead and get Allen Iverson to come coach the basketball team and just hit a home run.
I was just about to say that area, you know, then they can get Chris Brown and Trey Songz to sing at the homecoming for them. You never know. They all from that little dirty area.
Right, exactly.
Dirty VA South.
It's definitely a hotbed of football and basketball around there. I think when I was in school, the biggest name down there was Terry Kirby at that time. I was a little bit before Alonzo Mourning. He is from the Norfolk area, and Joe Smith
was from down there.
Yeah, Alonzo's from down there as well. Joe Smith, Maryland great. He was from that area.
Joe Smith was from there.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he's from Norfolk, I believe, and so yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and transition a little bit to the NFL, and you know, we're about 3 weeks left in the season, and so playoff picture is kind of taking shape right now. In the AFC, we know that the Chiefs, they've already clinched the number 1 seed in the AFC West as well. The Bills, with their big win on Sunday over the Lions, they clinched the AFC East and the 2nd seed. And so we know that 1 and 2 are pretty much settled. We got the Steelers right now, who have the 3rd seed. They have a 70% chance to win the division, and it's a big game Saturday against the Ravens. Left in their schedule is the Chiefs and the Bengals. As a matter of fact, they played the Chiefs on Christmas Day. The Texans, they've already clinched the AFC South with their win on Sunday versus the Dolphins, and the Colts loss. The Ravens right now, the home team, they're sitting in the fifth slot of the wild card. They have a 30% chance to win the division. Big game Saturday, and we're going to talk about this in a minute. Versus the Steelers at home. Then they have the Texans on Christmas Day, and then they close out with the Browns. And you have in the sixth seed the Broncos, and the Ravens hold a tiebreaker over them. And then you have the seventh seed, the Chargers, who the Ravens also hold the tiebreaker over. They beat them, both of those teams, during the season. And so the lowest, if the Ravens lost Saturday, and maybe if they lost the next 2 out of 3, the lowest they would go is 5, because they hold the tiebreakers over the Broncos and Chargers. The highest they could go is possibly 3, and that's with some help. If they beat the Steelers on Saturday and the Steelers lose maybe those next 2 games, which is a possibility, Chiefs and Bengals, the Ravens could sneak in as the AFC North representative and get a 3rd seat, which would give them a home playoff game. So just in terms of scenarios for the AFC, Calvin, I mean, what you thinking right now? Do you like where the Ravens spot is? You think we're going to see some movement in that 5, 6, and 7 area?
Well, first, I thought the Steelers clinched the playoff spot, not
No.
necessarily the
Mm-mm.
seed, but I thought they clinched the playoff spot, so they can still fall out.
They
I thought
cannot fall out the playoffs. They can lose the
that's what I mean.
division.
They clinched the playoff spot. That's what they
Yeah, they're
clinched
they're they're,
the
they're
spot.
going to be in the playoffs. Well, yeah, they've clinched it.
Yeah,
According
they
to
clinched
the,
the spot.
they didn't say that really. It's that they have the record right now. They haven't clinched the division, and
Right,
so
right,
right
right,
now they're in a wild card spot. They haven't clinched the division. Yeah, they if they lost going out, they still would be probably the 5th seed because they've
right.
beaten the Broncos and Chargers. So basically, the Steelers and Ravens would flip flop.
Yeah. So I, to be very honest, I pretty much think for both conferences, the playoff spots are set. I know there's some scenarios that'll bring the Dolphins in, that could bring the Bengals in, a wild
I don't
scenario
see them
for the
getting in
Bengals.
it. Yes, I mean
Exactly. I
you're gonna
don't
have to
see
have teams
either of
totally
them.
breaking down for that
Same
to
thing with
happen.
the Colts. I don't think let's see the Colts. So I think pretty much the playoff teams are set. Now when it comes to the Ravens, that goddamn Raiders game. I mean, of course, that Pittsburgh game, the
Cleveland.
Browns game,
Hmm.
all of that. But it was that goddamn Raiders game that burned us. I mean, if that Raiders game, which is looming over us right now, if that Raiders game wasn't there, this game Saturday would definitely be for the AFC North title. And the Ravens could have wrapped it up with it. Um, that damn Raiders game. But with that being said, I do like the spot that the Ravens are in. I do have them beating the Steelers. I have them beating the Texans on Christmas Day. And of course, it's a divisional game with the Browns. We, at the beginning of the season, you hope that it wouldn't mean anything, but this game is going to mean something. So they'll need to win. But I think we all have the Ravens winning after the bye all 4 games, starting with the Giants last week. So, I like the spot that they're in.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, the league didn't do them any favors. I mean, 3 games in 13 days is a rough. I mean, also the Steelers have the same thing as well
yeah,
because
Steelers have the same
you got
thing.
the Saturday game and then they turn around and they're playing on Christmas Day as well. And
Chiefs have the
so
same thing,
Chiefs had the same scenario and the Texans have the same
and the
scenario.
Texans have the same scenario.
Yeah, so it's pretty tough in there. I'm not necessarily concerned about the Ravens getting the division, but it means that the team with the lowest seed, if they win, they face the Chiefs. I mean, I think the Ravens could beat the Chiefs again. Could beat the Chiefs on the road. And some people prefer that the Ravens be on the road. They think they're a better road team than home team. And so, we'll see. But yeah, I think right now what we're seeing, I agree with you, through the division, it could stay that way. I don't see. I think depending on if they have T.J. Watt back for these last couple games, that's going to have a big impact. Excuse me, on the defense. That Bengals game is always going to be a shootout sure the Bengals are going to be trying to put whatever effort they can into finishing out the season strong. And so they don't have any gimme, talking about the Steelers, they don't have any gimme games on that schedule. And so, it's going to be
They
tough
may
going
have
down the
one
road.
Christmas night in Pittsburgh if Mahomes doesn't play.
All right. We'll see. We'll see. Um, I mean, I wouldn't put it against Andy Reid. Come on, they got a guy that's a backup that he did take a team to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, true,
Sure.
true.
And it's about system there. It's so I think the system. I mean, I'm not saying that Mahomes is a systems quarterback, but Reed does have a good system. Let's talk about the NFC real quick. The Packers and Lions, they have the hardest remaining schedules. The Eagles and the Bucks, they have the easiest. The Lions, they've clinched the NFC North, but they're having some trouble. Just about all of their defensive players are on injured reserve. They lost several players for the year. They lost their running back, Montgomery, with a torn MCL. He's gone for the season. So they just have Gibbs in the backfield. They lost a close game on Sunday, and they got some tough games left because the Vikings are still winning, and the Vikings have an outside chance, at least 22%, to win the division, although they've already clinched a wild card. The Eagles, they've clinched the NFC East, and depending on what happens with the Lions these last couple games, they could possibly get the number one seed. Buccaneers, they're at the third seed. The Rams have crept up in there. You did have the Seahawks in as the fourth seed for the NFC West, but with that loss on Sunday night, and the Rams, they're showing what they did last year. They had a lot of injuries. Once they start getting people back, that offense is clicking. Packers, they're the sixth seed, and Commanders right now, they're the seventh seed. And so, what do you think about the NFC?
Yeah, same thing. I think the only thing changes in the NFC is the seeding. The Lions with all the injuries, but then you got the Seahawks with that Geno injury. But I pretty much think it's all set. I mean, that Rams Seahawks thing, 49ers are, out of it. They can hang that shit up. But I don't know that NFC North, man, that Lions, Vikings, Packers thing. I think they
Yeah.
said they're going to set a record for a division with the most wins ever.
Oh wow,
I think
better than
they
the AFC North last year because we did
yeah,
have
yeah.
several
Well,
teams.
if you what are the lines? The lines are 12-2. The Vikings are 12-2, and the Packers are 10 and are they 10-4? They're the 10-4 or 11-3, something like that. But it's
Okay,
I think they said they have the chance to end with the most wins in a division in NFL history, since of course it's been the divisions.
yeah, and then you got the Bears. The Bears are horrible. Yeah. So, all right, all right. Let's talk a little Ravens. Last week we went up to the Meadowlands, the crew, to support the home team. Took Turnpike up there to watch the Ravens beat the Giants. It was almost like a home game. It was, let's go ahead and call it M&T North. The Ravens won that game 35-14. It wasn't really even, I mean, the score doesn't reflect that it was close. I mean, really, the Ravens probably should have won by a little bit more. If Lamar does not get stripped on that fumble on the first drive,
Thank you, Zay
probably,
Flowers.
yeah, probably more than likely they score in that drive too. We are at a Jackson 5. Lamar threw for 5 touchdowns. Two went to Rashard Bateman. I'm sorry, uh, Jason, that he didn't get more. I know Jason is a big Rashard Bateman fan, and he was hoping that Rashard would get more touches. 2 touchdowns wasn't enough for Jason on that for Rashad's day, and so sorry that Lamar had to see other receivers catch the ball. And so, what's the best case scenario for the Ravens in these last 3 games, Calvin? I mean, we want them to go undefeated, but the days are against them in terms of the scheduling. So, just realistically, what do you think the best case scenario for them closing out the season? I saw, and just before you answer, I saw a projection on ESPN. ESPN has projected the rest of the season, and they have the Ravens going 1-3, no, 1-2 for the remainder of the season. They have them losing Saturday, they have them losing Christmas Day, and they have them in the playoffs, but they'll lose to the Bills in the AFC Championship in Buffalo. And so they have a Bills
That's for Jackie.
Lions. Yeah, they have a Bills Lions Super Bowl. And so what's the best case scenario for the Ravens going down the stretch of these three games?
They I think the best case scenario for them is to win all three games.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to drop to the Steelers, you don't want to drop to the Texans, because if you drop to those teams, then you're dropping two playoff teams. And that's not what you want going into the
Sure.
playoffs. And then beating the Browns, it's not the motivation that you're looking for. They need to get this momentum. They definitely have to get this Steelers thing off their back. They have to do the Steelers game is almost a must win, and it's not a must win for a playoff scenario. It's a must win for the confidence. You have to get this Steelers thing off of your back. They've got to win this game. This Texans Christmas game, it's a big time game, and the Ravens are a prime time team.
Yeah, they do well in prime time.
They do extremely well in prime time. I don't see them losing to the Texans. I do see them possibly losing to the Browns in the final game. As crazy as it sounds,
Mm-hmm.
they could possibly lose that game. But I think even losing that game, where the media, the national media, will say, "Oh, that's a bad loss for the Ravens, and they're going into the playoffs with this loss," and I think the Ravens could lose that Browns game and be just fine. But they have to beat the Steelers and the Texans to do that. So, but best case scenario is winning all three games, in my opinion.
Okay. For me, best case scenario is going maybe 2-1. I want to see them beat the Steelers. I want them to get the Christmas Day game. And depending on what happens with the Steelers with the Chiefs game, if they lose to the Chiefs on Christmas Day and that gives the Ravens the division, then I say go ahead and just rest your starters for that last game.
Oh
You
yeah, if
know,
you got the division wrapped up, hell
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. If that gets you the division, then I think that's great. You don't have to worry about this Browns game. You can go ahead. You'll have a home playoff game, and you can go ahead and start Josh Johnson and everybody else to give yourself a little break in between that. Because I mean, they're going to the next several weeks. They're going to have to be on top of their game. There's no other breaks. There's no buys for the rest of the season. Once they get in the playoffs, there are no buys, and so it would be good that maybe they can get the two games, depending on what happens with the Steelers. They may be able to rest players the last game, and then, to me, the Brown game. If they win the first two games, the Brown game is not as significant if the Steelers also lose to the Ravens and the Chiefs. And so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I agree with you. Best case scenario, of course, you want them all. So you want the three, but say if they don't get the three, at least get the Steelers and the Texans, and you can see what you can do with the last game as well. And so they got some tough sledding ahead, and we'll see what happens. This will be the first time Lamar has played the Steelers at home since the COVID season. As a matter of fact, someone, I think it was Rita, she put it up on her Twitter. She was showing that game. As a matter of fact, they were letting people start to come to the games, but the stadium was half empty. You had to they're just letting one or two people sit on a row. You couldn't sit next to anybody, and they lost that game as well. And so yeah, that was the last time that Lamar has played the Steelers at home. And so I'm hoping that what they did in New York will translate to Saturday. And so
Gotta get them off their back,
got to
man.
get it off the back. Got to get the
Gotta,
monkey off your back.
gotta get it.
All right. Let's do some power rankings real quick. We've been power ranking our top 5 teams over the last several weeks, and I'll start off. For my power 5, I got the Bills at number 1, big win on Sunday. Although the Ravens beat them earlier in the season, they're the best team right now, and they beat the best team on Sunday. I have the Eagles at number 2. Eagles 10-game winning streak. They're just doing it. No, they're not necessarily blowing people out, but Sunday's win against the Steelers was a quality win. They've had 2 back-to-back. Not back-to-back, because the Ravens was a quality win, and then they played the Panthers, which was so quality. But then they came back against the Steelers last Sunday, which was a quality win. The Lions, I just bumped them down to 3. Offensively, they're still there. Don't know what's going to happen with them defensively. Hopefully that doesn't hurt their chances in the playoffs. They've been there. One of my friends said they're Fugazi. They're not a good team, but they're a real good team. And hopefully they'll get some of those defensive players back as they head into the playoffs. I got the Chiefs at number 4. I mean, they still got Mahomes. They still only lost one game. Yes, they're barely winning, but you win. There's no column for barely winning. It's just a W and an L, and they keep on getting the dubs. And so they're doing the work. And at number 5, I got the home team, the Ravens. Lamar. Yeah, I know. Lamar. I know the mainstream media don't have a heart attack. The mainstream media has given the MVP to Josh Allen, which is cool with me. I don't think Lamar cares. I know I don't care. He's won 2. Great. I want to see him win a Super Bowl this year, but he's having a MVP season. He's going to finish with over 4,000 yards passing. He might finish with at least 1,000 yards rushing. He only has 3 interceptions. He has less than 5 interceptions this season versus I think it's 28 or might be 30 plus touchdowns in the air. His efficiency, just everything. If maybe they win those couple games that they've lost, then maybe the narrative would be different. But I mean, he's outperforming Allen. But once it's kind of like that. What's his name? He used to play Steve Nash. Kobe had great seasons, and they didn't give the MVP to Kobe. They gave it to Steve Nash because they like Steve Nash. And so they've already decided they want to give it to Josh Allen because it's time for him to get it. And, sometimes that's what happens. What's your top 5, Cal?
I can't believe. Is this the
what?
Garland, are you there? Are you cloned like Jamie Foxx? I have in a rankings, because when I rank the Ravens in the top 5, he's a homer. He a homer, y'all. He a homer.
You put him in the top 5 after losing to the Eagles. The Eagles, though, that was kind of homey.
That's one. No, actually, I did not. Yeah, I did. That's one. And then you turn around and you give Kobe some acknowledgement. Not my number 2 GOAT. Kobe. Garland, are you a clone, sir? Let me touch my hand. Blink twice. Blink twice if you in there. Blink twice if you. Do I need to do the flash through the screen to wake you up? Blink twice if you in there, sir. Jeez, not God. Anyway, let me go to the rankings, because I thought we was going to have basically the same rankings, but we do not. We do not.
Sorry, sir.
At the top, I just flip-flop with you and all. Where you had the Bills number 1 and the Eagles number 2. I actually have the Eagles number 1 and the Bills number 2. The way the Eagles held the Pittsburgh Steelers to 2 possessions
in the second half.
Crazy. In 30 minutes, 2 possessions, went on a 21-play drive to close out the game. I have the Eagles at number 1. I got the Bills at number 2. Josh Allen is playing out of his mind. Statistically, he is not better than Lamar Jackson this season. But he's had his last 3 or 4 games in prime time. Even though one of those games was a loss, he still did his thing. And he went into Detroit and just totally destroyed a team that everyone had as the number 1 team at the time.
Pretty much.
I do have the Lions at number 3. I'm with you. A lot of people are dropping them out of the top 5 because of the injuries. Proof is in the pudding. I think Dan Campbell, and I've been a Dan Campbell guy for a while now. I think Dan Campbell can motivate them enough to still maintain their composure. So I got them at number 3. I actually have the Chiefs at number 4. I think that's where you had them too. They're still the Chiefs, like you said. But my number 5 team, Garland been pushing this team on me, and I finally come around to the 12-2 Minnesota Vikings.
It was a tough choice for me.
Do I think the Ravens are a better team than the Vikings? And I think I told you I believe the Ravens can beat the Vikings. But I can't deny a 12-2 record. I cannot deny a 12-2 record. So I have to give them a number 5, and with the close Ravens being in the number 6. Ravens being actually 5.5 for me. Now, with that all being said, I dropped the Steelers out because of the way that they lost to the Eagles. Even though the Ravens lost to the Eagles, they didn't lose in that form of fashion.
Sure.
So and I would even put the Steelers in there. That Vikings Ravens Steelers thing is a toss up, and
Yeah.
I can't argue either way for you. But I got the Vikings at number 5.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you could slide either one of them in the fifth slot and it'll be legit.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Um, let's go ahead and transition. We want to, oh no, let's not transition. We need NFL picks.
Ooh,
Week fifth is week 16. We already did our 15 picks.
who's
Okay, and so
what?
NFL I'm sorry, go
Uh,
ahead.
what? What's? I'm sorry. I thought you said the score of the picks, like who's winning right
I was getting ready. Give me a second. I was getting
now. Just
ready to.
wondering.
Yes, and
Taking a little
so
too long. You
I'm
taking a little too
sorry.
long.
Right now,
When
Calvin
you
is
winning, you lead the show with it. I'll be like, this is the big show. You be like, I'm winning, y'all.
right now. Calvin has a one game lead over me, 152 to 151. Last week, he picked 12 winners. I picked 11. And so, I blew it. We both blew the Bucks Chargers game, and it's crazy.
No, no,
What?
they blew the Bucks Chargers game. We didn't blow that
Yeah,
game.
it's crazy because sometimes I'll do a pick early, but a lot of times if I'm in church or like we were on the road last week at the game, so I did my picks at the stadium. And when I came back to fill in the picks so I can do the tally, I saw that I actually had picked the Bucks to win that game, but when I was at the stadium, I took the Chargers. And so, dumb me. Uh, you know, um, Dolphins, I thought they stood a good chance, but the Texans beat them in that one. Calvin, he had the Panthers over the Cowboys. I was correct on that one. And we both washed out on the Niners game. That was all a field goal game last Thursday against the Rams. And so we're gonna at least do our third. You want to do Thursday and Saturday picks, and then we can wait until Sunday on the other picks.
Yeah, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. That'd be
Okay,
me.
so Thursday night game tomorrow night. You have the Broncos, who are currently the 6th seed. They're going to be facing the 7th seed Chargers, and so this will be for some playoff standing. They could possibly flip their seedings with this game. And so, who you picking, Calvin? Broncos or the home team?
Yeah, I like Jim out there, but I just think you got that Greg Roman effect, that predictable offense. Broncos are the number one. I don't know if they're still number. I think they're the number one sacking defense
Hmm.
in the NFL right now. I'm gonna take the Broncos.
Okay, I'm gonna take the Broncos as well. Yeah, I just don't have faith in the Chargers. I think they're okay defensively, that but yeah, that offense is just super predictable. And you got Justin Herbert, but they can't seem to score any points. But the receivers have been dinged up. It's not outside of Lad McConkey and number
He's
5 on
been
that
dinged up.
team. Yeah,
McConkey's
yeah,
been dinged up,
yeah.
and they
So
don't have J.K. J.K. is still
yeah,
out
they don't have JK. Gus really hasn't done anything for them this season.
now.
And so
Mm-mm.
yeah. Yeah. So anyway, sometimes a player looks great here and they go somewhere else and it's like, eh. So it looks like Gus Williams is just that. On Saturday, we got two of the teams that are going to play on Christmas Day. They're just going to flip flop the games. The Texans, they will be in KC to visit to play the Chiefs. More than likely, Mahomes may not play in that game. Word is he has a high ankle sprain, although they have not officially ruled him out. They traffic in the dark arts, and so I wouldn't be surprised he's out there running around and he plays that game. But anyway, nonetheless, Texans on the road up in KC. Who you taking?
In KC
In
with the
KC.
refs. Come on, give me the Chiefs. Like that's not even. It's not even. If they were playing in Houston, I may take the Texans without Mahomes on playing for the Chiefs, but it don't
Mhm.
matter who quarterback and when you playing in Kansas City with their referees, their homegrown referees. I don't care what the crew is. They always find a way to do something in that motherfucker. I'm gonna take the Chiefs.
I'm with you. I'm gonna take the Chiefs as well. Texans. Now they're fugazi to me. The
They
Dolphins, I
really
think,
are.
were just not that good, and I don't think they can get them on the road up in KC. And then we got the Steelers. They're in Baltimore taking on the home team. That's going to be the 4:30 Saturday game. Of course, we got the Ravens. I don't even need to ask you. I'm just going to go ahead and type it in.
The two-time MVP should be three-time MVP, but
Should be.
you
Yeah.
know,
I'm
you know,
expecting a big game from him. I think we're going to get a big game from him.
I need him to have a big game.
I think we're going to be.
I I need him to have a big game for not only his confidence but for the city's confidence. And a big game from Lamar may actually do something to the Steelers. You just never know. They're there. They've been winning, but you lose that game the way you lost to the Eagles. You come back and you lose with Lamar having a big game. The Steelers, that armor may start cracking, and they may be, as they've been the past few seasons, one and done in the playoffs. I'm just
Mhm.
saying a win with Lamar could go a long way to a Steelers demise in the playoffs.
It can. It can. All right. So Thursday game, we're both taking the Broncos. Saturday, we're both taking the Chiefs, and we're both taking the Ravens. And then we'll fill you in next week on our other picks. And so there we go. And I'm going to catch up and win. So I'm a
Ah,
plan. I'm a plant a flag on Calvin's
this guy,
porch.
this guy. Just be ready to fight.
Yes, I'm gonna plant a flag and knock on the door and see what Katina's doing.
Definitely be ready to fight.
Right. All right. Quick music corner. It's Christmas season, so we're gonna talk a little Christmas music, and we're gonna talk the Jackson 5 Christmas album. Now, the Jackson 5 Christmas album was the first Christmas album by the group and the fourth studio album by the Jackson 5. It was released on October the 15th, 1970. Included on the Christmas album is the Jackson hit single version of Santa Claus is Coming to Town, and the Jacksons version of I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. And they remain frequent radio requests during the Christmas season, both of those songs. Now, for me, about this album, and for most Black people, we grew up with this album in our house, at least for Christmas. If there's any Christmas albums that your parents own, it was usually the Jackson 5 album and probably the Temptation Christmas album. And so those were two required albums, soul albums that you're supposed to have in your house for Christmas. But for me, this is the greatest Christmas album, Calvin, because not only is it played every holiday season, and I'm remembering it growing up in my mom's home. The thing that really stood out for me about this album, and I didn't realize it until later in my adult years, is that the Jackson family were devout Jehovah Witnesses. They were raised Jehovah Witnesses, and they did not celebrate what was considered pagan holidays, Christmas being one of them. But they made one of the greatest Christmas albums ever. So go figure that out. A family that did not celebrate Christmas is known for their Christmas album. And so the Jackson 5 Christmas album, if you're going to be playing some Christmas music during the holidays, pull that up in your playlist.
Seeing Mommy Kiss Santa Claus. I remember that. That was my jam growing up, listening to little Michael. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, I remember that. Let me drop a top 10 on you. Let me drop a
Okay.
top 10 on you. So we all in the past few weeks, you may have heard that. If you haven't heard, I don't know where you've been, but you've heard that Remy Ma is now mad at Papoose for seeing Clarissa Shields, and she coming out with that
Say his
whole
name again, Papoose.
Papoose, Papoose,
Papoose.
Papoose. Didn't I say Papoose? What did I
You
say?
said you said Papoose. It's all good. I like the way you said it.
Papoose. Whatever his name, whatever the nigga name is. Anyway, and we know that he was holding her down through her jail stint and everything, and she
Right.
started cheating with an ugly nigga, old battle rap nigga and shit. And then she gonna come back out and mad at him and start throwing these lies out and shit about the shit he used to do, and all he like is sign the divorce papers. Anyway, I got a top 10 list of shit that women like to lie about. And then we can all, fellas, we can all relate to this shit. Let me start with my number 10. Women will be quick to be like, girl, I'm broke as shit. But next thing you know, every weekend they out drinking and they in Cancun with their girlfriends. Turn up. They in
Mm-hmm.
Cancun, but they always hollering they broke as shit.
South
Number
Beach getting a BBL.
number 9. Chicks, when they meet a guy that they like, oh yeah, I love me some sports. I watch sports too. Then next thing you know, they be saying shit like, oh, why Justin Tucker don't hit no more home runs? But they love sports. They don't know
Does Michael Orr still play for the Ravens?
shit that you be like, girl, you don't even watch the
I
game.
love the Far Side.
They love it though.
I mean, no, it's not the Far Side. It was the left side. What was it?
The blind side.
The
But that's what
Blind
they would
Side.
say. They would say. They love the far side.
I love the Far
Um,
Side. That's a rap group.
Here's another thing. Chicks be on the job and they be like, girl, I don't know what the fuck. I don't need this fucking job. They ain't gonna be fucking telling me what to do. Girl, you need that motherfucking job because as soon as you home, you gonna be asking me for some money. Oh, Cal, what you doing? Cause I don't know if you got a little bit of cat. Bitch, no, I ain't got nothing for you. Nothing for you. My next one. Girl, I ain't never gonna fuck with no nigga like that. He ain't got no car. Yeah, you might not fuck with the nigga ain't got no car, but you gonna fuck with the nigga that's got a wife. Well, he got a wife. You gonna fuck with that type of nigga? Anyway, let me move on. They looking at their girlfriends be putting on the shit, and they know the shit make them look like motherfucking Barney if it's purple, but they be like, no, girl, that shit look good on you. Fuck what they say. That shit look good. That shit don't look good. They know damn well that shit don't look good on them. My next one. For the new year, I'm cutting off all the toxic shit. You know, they got the little steps that they walk up that they show, and they cutting off all the toxic shit. But they still got that nigga out there fucking around with their girlfriends. You ain't cut him off. So what's the toxic shit that you cut off, girl? Huh? You ain't cut none of that shit off. Then here you go, Garland. I know you've experienced this. You probably experienced this with Paula.
Oh Lord.
What's wrong with you? Nothing. Ain't nothing wrong. Well, why you got attitude? I ain't got no attitude. So ain't nothing wrong with you. I've been knowing you all these years. I know when something. Leave me alone. Ain't nothing wrong. And then later on that night, you know, I find it real funny.
Can I talk to you? What you want to talk to me about? I tried to talk to you earlier.
Yeah, all
day.
day to talk. Yeah, you see, I'm watching the game right now.
Right. Can I talk?
Here's another one. Here's another one. Hey, I'm getting ready to go in here and order me something to eat. You want something?
Right.
No, I ain't even really that hungry. I don't want nothing. As soon as you get back, so I can't have none of that. No, I asked you if you wanted some. I ain't even want a whole thing of chicken. Girl, you could have saved it for later. Don't stop eating my shit. Oh, here we go. Here's another one. So you fuck with him? Who? Michael? That nigga like my brother. Whole time Michael banging them guts out. So you let your brother bang them guts out? Whole time, girl, we know you lying.
He like family.
I've been knowing that nigga since I was little. Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And here's my final one.
We grew up together. All right, go ahead.
Y'all grew up pants rubbing together.
Right.
7-Eleven and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I know. Girl, I know. Here's my final one. And all girls have done this. Hey, I want you to meet my girlfriend. What she look like? She cute. I mean, she all right. She good. So she cute. She look good. Yeah. How Smokey said? Talking about she looked like Janet Jackson. She looked like Freddie Jackson. All girls have made cover for their girlfriend. Girlfriends be ugly as shit. You like, nah, you won't like them. She funny. She got a good job, and you sitting there like, oh shit, all right then, all right. And you see him be like, and don't say nothing the whole time. Y'all just sitting there and shit, just looking away. Top 10 shit women lie about. Y'all know y'all lie about all that shit.
It's crazy. I've had good female friends that they've never hooked me up with a Scudley friend. Thank goodness.
Really?
Yeah, I've been fortunate. I'm thinking of the hookups that I've had as, through friends, female friends, and yeah, they did your boy good. They did your boy good.
I have been given so much charity work in my time that, and just, just like the good missionary I am, I go ahead and, I perform my missionary service.
Sometimes you just gotta be the wingman.
I've, I've done a lot of I've done a lot of free volunteer work in my day.
He was out here roping in some midnight monsters.
Listen, when I get the receipt and I claim it on my taxes, that given to charity, yes, I have.
Oh God.
Here's my receipt.
All right, everybody. We had a point in the show that everybody. Thank you for your top 10, Calvin. We had the point at the show everybody loves. Come on, yo. And I'm gonna go ahead and start because this person he already knows what's getting ready to happen. And last week we had some turmoil. You saw the assassination of the CEO of United Healthcare, and you know, people were cheering the assassination of that man, and he's got family and a wife and all. Yeah, insurance is crazy, but you don't want to see people get murdered for it. But just some crazy stuff has been happening that we could come on yo about. But my come on yo is about a person who's worse than a terrorist. My come on yo is about a man that will tell you that he wants to record at 8 in the morning on a Saturday. When we record at 8 in the morning on a Saturday, that means you have to get up no later than 7:15 to prepare yourself. I mean, you need to, bathe. You want to make sure your breath ain't funky on the mic. Get your computer set up and everything on a Saturday morning. So, I got a text on Friday. My partner said, "Hey, we can record on Saturday." And I said, "Oh, okay." I'm figuring Saturday afternoon because I this has happened to me before. But he was counting like 2-3 times. So this has happened to me before. And he says, "Yeah." As a matter of fact, let me pull up the exact text because I want to make sure that I'm quoting him correctly. I don't want to misquote him because sometimes he gets mad when I misquote him, and so I just want to make sure that I'm quoting him correctly. No, ain't no bullshit. That's real. And so, uh, we had agreed. Hey, Saturday could work. You know, um, he says, for me, maybe Saturday morning. Saturday night is up in the air because he had to landlord his grandson. So I was like, cool. Saturday morning can work. So we go ahead and we said, okay, we're gonna do it. We decide on the topics. He said, I'm gonna try to get up early so we can record at 8. Y'all can't see the picture that I sent. Y'all see my face on that picture? I sent him that picture. That's one of my memes when somebody say something I know they lying. So I sent him that. Like he says, "Yo, watch." That was his last response. "Yo, watch." So okay. So Saturday morning, get up. About get all set up. I'm ready. I then did a little bird bath and brushed the teeth and brushed the hair and everything, and I'm ready. So about 7:36, I may hit him about 7:36. Because I'm set up. Maybe he set up early too. I say, "Good morning. How you looking?" No response. 7:51. I send the eye emojis. Y'all seeing it right there, right? The eye emojis. I send the eye emojis. Like looking like, hey, you didn't respond. Uh about 7:58. I say, man, I'm going back to bed. So about 9:24 a.m. Y'all hear me right, people? We were supposed to record at 8. I texted him at 7:36, 7:51, and 7:58. No responses. 9:24 a.m. Bro, that alcohol had me shit down. The baby isn't coming, so I can do later this evening. Just let me know when. Needless to say, we did not record on Saturday. It just couldn't work out. He got caught up in a honeydew list and a couple other things, so we didn't. That's why there was no recording last week. So I'm gonna let you people know there will not be any more Saturday morning podcast recordings because I will not fall for it again. If you get a Saturday podcast recording, it'll be like a Saturday night. It'll be a Sunday morning, like one we did Saturday night, and he edited it and put it up on Sunday. But you will not get a nice, fresh Saturday morning podcast ever again. Because I'm not going to be fooled in 2025. He's not going to get me, y'all. He got me enough in 24 and 23. But he ain't going to get me in 25. So come on, yo. Calvin with the 8 o'clock. Yeah, yo, I'm going to show you. He said, I can show you better than I can tell you. He showed me.
Hold on. In my defense, I had 2 parties Friday. I had my job party and my cousin's party. And I knew it was going to be, kind of late. You know what I mean? But
you set the time.
I tried.
When I sent you the, like, come on, yo, face, that was your out to say, you know what? You right. I got these couple parties. Let's try to do it in the afternoon on Saturday. That was your out, but you didn't take it.
I'm saying I apologize. Let's try next Saturday. We can try.
No, we can't.
Let's try next Saturday.
No, sir.
Not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday.
No, sir. No, sir. There'll be no more Saturday recording. I'm down here looking like, wow. Why am I sitting down here at 7:45 in the morning on a Saturday?
Oh man, when I got up and I saw what time it was, and I saw that you had texted me, I was like, "Oh, this is some nasty work right here." It's just like
I told him at the game, I was like, "I'm gonna let you know. You know you're gonna be come on, yo. Just letting you know."
They had the nerve to tell these niggas make sure they at my house at 7 a.m.
Right. Then he had people getting up at like 5 a.m. on Sunday. People outside like.
I was on time for that. I was
on
time.
I ain't gonna talk about how you missed the exit. Everybody, I gave the boy directions, exact directions.
You should have just gave me an address.
There's no address for the park and ride.
I'm sure there is.
Like Calvin, when you come off the exit, make a right. You're gonna make a right.
You should have got there and pinged me, and then I could have just found.
All of a sudden, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I know they should be here. Get a phone call. Hey, we're a whole exit up above where you supposed to meet us. I'm like, what? How the heck? Yo, don't ask. Oh, it was Mr. 8 o'clock. Didn't turn the right way. Wasn't paying attention when he came off the exit, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
I came off the exit, went across the street just to get back on, just to get back on 95.
Yeah. On the way
Yeah,
back, I just made sure I kept on telling him, exit 80. You're going to take this exit.
yeah.
Because I don't want you to miss
Jay
it.
was like, "Yo, you getting back on 95?" I was like, "Oh, damn." And then I'm thinking, well, shit, I'll just get off at the next exit. The next exit is like 3 miles away.
Yeah, next exit's like 3 miles away.
That's
So what they telling me? I was like, where y'all at? What? I, I'm like, they
that's
three
what
miles
Jay
up
called.
north.
Jay called. It was like, "Yo, just meet us here, yo."
Yeah. I tried to rationalize it. I'm like, what, Jay? Y'all 3 miles? How y'all? He wrote, yo, just come up here and meet us. I'm like, okay.
First of all, and you know what? This ain't my come on, yo. But if you want to get on me, let me get on you real quick before my come on,
Oh
yo.
Lord.
I thought Paula had put Garland out, and Garland was going to have to come stay with me a little while. Because when we pulled up, Garland opened his trunk, and all this stuff, just bags and shit falling out. I was like, "Where all that going?" He was like, "It's going with us."
Y'all was cold. I had a blanket. I had my food and my drink. I had my chair.
You know
I
how
brought an
little
extra blanket for people just in case they were cold.
You know how little kids look when they going camping and they just got everything. They mother just packed. Garland had everything, y'all. But it wasn't just Garland. Jason ass too. Jason ass had a whole change of clothes and shit. Yo, I was like, what these niggas think I'm driving an excursion or something? Like the fuck?
I had my big bag. I had my Crocs because I didn't want to wear my boots after we came out the game. So I'm like, okay, I can change in my Crocs. If I wanted to take off my snow pants, I could take off my snow pants because I had sweatpants on underneath. You know, I was trying to
Yeah.
be prepared.
You would think these niggas was put out, yo. I thought I was going to have to house these niggas up for a while. I thought they got into what they was.
I should have been like, yo, just keep on going. I'm going to your house. Just past my exit, yo. Don't
That's
stop
what I
there.
thought. I mean, the bag. Garland opened the trunk and the bag just came flipping out like it was trying to escape. Dad was like, "Thank God you found me." Anyway, let me get to my come on, yo. My come on, yo, is about this game Saturday with the Ravens and the Steelers. The Steeler fans are already starting their bullshit excuses and shit.
Right.
Well, you know, Pickens might not play and
Right.
TJ Watt is a little hurt. So, you know, y'all might win this game, but it don't really mean nothing. I'm not trying to hear that shit. Because when y'all talking about all these games in a row y'all won, y'all don't mention that Lamar ain't playing most of these games. Y'all don't mention that last year when you came to Raven Stadium in the final game of the season, not their starter played. Y'all ticked it up as a game in a row. Y'all talked shit the whole time. So I don't give a damn if Pickens, Pickett, Wilson, I don't give a damn who playing. I don't care if TJ Watt hurt. Oh, well, sorry. If we win, we win. I'm not trying to hear that bullshit because y'all ain't give a damn when we ain't have our players. So y'all want to know.
They ain't care last year, right? And that last game. They ain't care then.
They ain't give a damn. We ain't even need the game. So we ain't played nobody. We were already the number one seed. Locked up by week 17. Locked up. So week 18 come, y'all win, and y'all, oh yeah, that's 9 in a row. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, that's 9 in a row. All that bullshit. We don't give a damn about George Pickens or TJ. If they don't play, that's on y'all. That's y'all fault that they not healthy. We don't care. We going for this win. Let's go, Ravens.
Let's go.
Come on, Steelers. Come on, yo. Man, fuck y'all. Fuck the Steelers. Let's go, Ravens. That's my come on, yo.
There you go. CLC. You heard it first. CLC. He's not going to be drinking a lot of wine and eating cheese on Saturday. He's going to really be locked in like Lamar. So
I got a happy hour after the game on Saturday.
Oh God.
And on Sunday.
I'm
We
telling
got
you, if he call you and talk about, hey man, let's connect early on Sunday, don't do it. Don't do it.
Hey man, we going a little long on this podcast, so we gonna end it. But we had a lot to talk about. Garland, you know what I mean? Garland missed Saturday. He wasn't able to do it on the time that I was able to do it. So, we
Yeah, man. Sign off. Play that going out music before I start reading more text.
Hey man, make sure y'all follow us. Like I said, we are live on YouTube right now. And you can find us on all the podcast platforms. If you have Spotify,
You have been listening to
I'm
the
sorry
B.I.G.
about
show.
the day.
The show was produced and written by Calvin
I ain't
Coates
gonna read
and
it.
Garland Thomas for All Things Black Productions. Follow us on all of
He
your
ain't gonna get me in
podcast
2025,
media
y'all. He ain't gonna
hey,
get
it's
me.
gonna be only on Saturdays coming 2025.
He ain't gonna get me, y'all. He ain't gonna
got
get
you,
me.
bro. I got you this Saturday. Hey, later, Garland.
Peace, bro.